Good day and welcome to another edition of Citizens Movement Radio News. Today is Wednesday, the 10th of September 2025. I am Lector Managa, ready to bring you the latest news and updates. Here are today's headlines on Citizens Movement Radio News. ZANU-PF is not Zimbabwe, says opposition as it vows to stop 2030 agenda. Citizens in Matabeleland pins hope on President Chamisa to deliver development. Are you not embarrassed, says Mahere, as she questions government commitment on refurbishing stadiums. Now let's delve into the detailed stories. The opposition warned that they will not allow ZANU-PF's bid to extend Emmerson Mnangagwa's term of office beyond 2028. This follows the recent statements by ZANU-PF officials like Mabel Chinomona and Daniel Garwe, urging Mnangagwa to hang to power beyond 2028. Opposition official Stephen Sakosi Chuma warned that ZANU-PF will face the wrath of citizens if they continue pushing the 2030 agenda. Chuma said,
yes, the discord that is coming out of ZANU-PF that they want Emmerson Mnangagwa to continue beyond 2028 is not going to see the light of the day. Would like to make it clear to the likes of Daniel Garwe and Mabel Chinomona that ZANU-PF is ZANU-PF and ZANU-PF is not Zimbabwe. So they must not expect the people of Zimbabwe to accept their nonsense that they make in ZANU-PF to say Emmerson Mnangagwa must continue as the president of this republic when his time is up. We all know that Emmerson Mnangagwa is the father of corruption in this country. We all know that Emmerson Mnangagwa has presided over one of the worst economy in Southern Africa. We all know that Emmerson Mnangagwa has failed to deliver on his electoral promises. So he does not deserve a single day as president of this country. The people of Zimbabwe are going to be mobilized so that they reject this evil plan to impose Emmerson Mnangagwa on us, even when we know that he is unpopular, even when we know that he is unelectable, even when we know that he stole the people's mandate in 2018 and 2023. So we are going to resist this so-called 2030 nonsense.
Citizens in Matabeleland are pinning their hopes on Advocate Nelson Chamisa to spearhead development in the region when his government takes over from ZANU-PF. Opposition leader in Matabeleland, Honorable Bekezela Mapolanga, said the people in the region have been marginalized under ZANU-PF's Iron Fist rule since 1918. Let's hear her speaking.
From 1980, Matabeleland has been neglected by the government of ZANU-PF. There has not been any development in the region. Surprisingly, ZANU-PF government over the weekend ignored commemoration of the Ndebele founder, King Mzilikazi, which was held in Mhlahlandlela, 20 kilometers out of Bulawayo. We believe that if you are a national leader, you lead everyone, not one tribe. It is shocking that ZANU-PF splashes millions of US dollars on the so-called Monmutapa Day celebration and the First Lady's programs, but the same government ignored the King Mzilikazi Day celebrations for the best reasons known by them. It is clear that it will be impossible to achieve nation building with Mr. Emmerson Mnangagwa and the government of ZANU-PF. We are certain that Advocate Nelson Chamisa will be the father and the president for everyone.
Former Mount Pleasant legislator Fadzai Mahere said the government of Emmerson Mnangagwa must bear responsibility for the Warriors' poor showing in World Cup qualifiers as the team continues to play its home games in foreign lands. Reacting to the Warriors' home loss in Johannesburg yesterday, Mahere said the government of Mnangagwa must be embarrassed that the country do not have a single CAF-approved stadium. Warriors fan and former legislator Jefferson Chitando echoed Mahere's sentiments, saying the Warriors' failure to qualify is a direct result of ZANU-PF government failure in investing in sporting facilities. Chitando said,
the failure by the Zimbabwe senior national team, the Warriors, to qualify for the World Cup is solely to blame on Mnangagwa's regime. The words by the former Mount President legislator Fadzai Mahere resonates with what soccer supporters are saying, what the generality of Zimbabwe are saying. She is speaking on behalf of the voiceless. She has articulated well the reasons why we have failed. Mnangagwa and his government have failed to provide a single stadium so that the Warriors could have benefited using home advantage, but we failed. The home advantage was donated to other countries by an irresponsible government which does not care about sport. Sport is all about investing. You invest in developing skills, you invest in the young. You start from schools, but our schools generally, the teachers, they are demoralized. So how can they develop the skills of the children? There are no equipment in those schools. Our minds, which used to provide us with good sports development, soccer development, they have been all racked down by this government. The other important issue which we all know is that teams like Dynamos, Platinum, Highlanders, they no longer perform well in the African continent tournaments. It all shows that our football is going down, it's deteriorating at a very fast rate. We used to see Dynamos competing in the finals of the CAF champions, but it's no longer there. We used to see the Warriors dominating, the Warriors beating Cameroon, Egypt, but now we are struggling against underdogs like minors like Rwanda, Benin. Is pathetic.
There are signs that individuals within Emerson Mnangagwa's government are now fed up with Mr. Mnangagwa and are resorting to protesting through typing errors that similar to those that were happening towards the end of Robert Mugabe's reign. In a linked program schedule of the Sanganai Hlanganani Kuhle Expo, Mr. Mugabe's name was somehow put in place of Mnangagwa's name. Political analysts say these are telltale signs that Mnangagwa's time as president is up. Zimbabwean youths have been urged to take a leaf from their counterparts in Nepal who are leading massive demonstrations against their corrupt government. Opposition official Eric Gono said youth must take a leading role in mobilizing against corruption and Emerson Mnangagwa's continued stay in power beyond his constitutional term limit. Gono said,
The young people of Nepal have once again demonstrated, like we saw from the young people of Kenya a year or so ago, that it is possible for a generation to stand up and fight for what they believe is right. The people of Nepal, they are up against their government for closing out social media platforms, lack of economic opportunities, rampant corruption in government. And the young people took it upon themselves to take correctional measures by starting with mass protests as a sign of their discontent at the way that their government is operating. It is my wish that the young people of Zimbabwe, who are living in probably the world's worst economic environment, the world's worst governed country, get also inspiration from the young people of Nepal. It's very disheartening that Zimbabwe, with its majority population being young people, there is very little or no activity at all in confronting the government and the first family, which is now taking these countries their family business. I think that serious citizens must take a leaf from what is happening in Nepal and correct the situation in our motherland.
As the September 13 Masvingo Ward 7 by-elections draws nearer, we spoke to independent candidate Strago Nyahunda to tell us how his campaign is going and to ask him if there are any issues affecting the campaign process in that ward.
The preparations for the Ward 7 by-elections in Masvingo are going on with all the preparations set for the looming day. The campaigns were going on very well with little to no to very few incidences or of significance which worth to mention. We can also acknowledge that these by-elections were of late peaceful, were of late free, but on the fair part, I would tend to be corrected because other political contenders, including me, were not allowed or given a chance to gather the people. We applied meetings through the police, and our applications were denied not once, not twice, but thrice. We also applied for the road shows, also applied for a star rally, but it was prohibited by the officer commanding Masvingo. We are, however, surprised to see ZANU-PF gathering people at will, even using the school and the government premises to conduct their own rallies, which is also alien to the other contenders. However, despite all these difficulties, we have done our best. We have engaged the people. We have worked very hard. We have canvassed for the support. We have done solid things which worth to mention. Of major significance is the installation of the open Wi-Fi at Rujeko A shops and also Rujeko B shops. This was one of my pillars of campaign, whereby we were saying we want to advocate for the free Wi-Fi and also the zones for making sure that our students and our people access internet easily, because data of late has also been one of the most challenging and expensive items in Zimbabwe. This presents us with a better opportunity to stand to be elected in this election. My manifesto was also anchored on the formation of the Women Cluster Charter, the Youth Cluster Charter, service delivery, and also robust engagements and feedbacks which must be done monthly in the ward. We have done everything in our power to make sure that this election is won by none other than Nyahunda Struggle Desire. We have also received some complaints of late that some contenders were calling our agents, or those that they think are our agents, requesting them to come or to join them so that they would bribe them or they would stand on their side. This is not only a frivolous and serious as well as a scandalous attempt to defeat the will of the people, but the people are very clear that Nyahunda Struggle Desire must be elected as the next councillor for Ward 7 on the 13th of September 2020.
The trial of journalist Blaise Muhlanga could not proceed yesterday as the magistrate whose handling is said to have been transferred to Hwange. Muhlanga, who shared his frustrations on social media over the delays, said the matter will only proceed in October when the magistrate is back in Harare. He is facing charges of transmitting messages with intent to cause public violence following his interviews with war veteran Comrade Blaise Geza. A Bulawayo councillor for Ward 26, Pumelo Moyo, has been sentenced to an effective 12 months imprisonment for soliciting for a bribe of $20,000 from a company that wanted to establish a cement plant in Quadri Park. Moyo, a non-Sengezo Shabango Ali in Bulawayo, was initially slapped with 18-month jail term before the magistrate set aside 6 months. The opposition, led by Advocate Nelson Chamisa, does not condone corruption, and the popular opposition leader is on a record denouncing corruption at every level. Back to our top story. We spoke to citizens to hear their views on ZANU-PF pushing for postponement of the 2018 elections that will allow Mr. Mnangagwa to stay in office beyond 2030.
Okay. And when you ask me, especially when it comes to postponement of elections to up to 2030, as an individual, I want to think that one. Let's start with constitutionalism, where a country who are proud or who always preach a constitutionalism, respecting the all three arms of government, the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive. Now we are saying it is outside the context of Zimbabwean constitution to just extend the term of office of a president. Presidential office is a 5-year term, and as such it should be respected. The moment we understand that in an election a winner does represent everyone, but does not mean that you are in a unitary state. In a state there's democracy. Democracy is the will of the people. So what makes them so fearful to go for elections? That's the core of the matter. People should select their leaders. Leaders are selected on merit. They are not just pushed. There's nothing tangible that can say, because of APCT, let's go there. We should not have individuals deciding for the multitudes. But in fact, we are saying the democratic process should be inclusive. Everyone should have a say, and the only way we do that is through elections. That's my point of view.
Maswera sei vana veZimbabwe tichidai kusangana paCitizens Movement Radio tichikurukura panhau yeZANU-PF yekuda kukorresponda maelection 2028 kuda kuti ivo vaMnangagwa varemba vari muofisi kusvika 2030. Tiri kuti vana veZimbabwe zviri kurongwa neZANU-PF hatisi kufara nazo uye hatizvifarire. Hatimbozvifarire kana zviri kutaurwa neZANU-PF izvozvo, nekuti ZANU-PF ibato riri kuda kuextenda huori huri kuitika muhurumende. ZANU-PF iri kuda kuplana kuextenda huori huri kuitika muhurumende, kuda kuti wawedzere imwe temu zvakare, vachiramba vachimora upfumi hwenyika, vachiramba vachiparadza upfumi hwenyika. Iko zvino tikada kuti titaure kuti sinzi vaMnangagwa vachitora nyika kana kuti vachipidigura hurumende yavaMugabe muna 2017, timboti pai one official member of ZANU-PF akasungwa nekuda kwehuori. Imboti pai munhu 1 angave minister yaMnangagwa akasungwa nekuda kwehuori. Iko zvinezvi makada kuzvitarisa kuti vakatageta iye yainzi G40, vana Kasukuwere nana Walter Muzembe wakaiswa mumajeri, ndipo pavari kuti vari kurwisa huori. But huori hwenguva yavaMugabe vanga hutori nane kudarika pakazopinda vaMnangagwa kuti vaite president wenyika. VaMnangagwa vakatsviriridza huori hwavo hwekuti hwaitosemesa kana kuti huri kutosemesa. Huori hwaMnangagwa chaivo hwakaonekwa neAl Jazeera. Tiudzei kuti pakabuda document Al Jazeera akasungwa ndiani akasungwa? Iye Mnangagwa yanga ari the head of the criminals, the head of the corruption. Wakuru vacho vaiba vacho ndiani akasungwa pathat document yeAl Jazeera. Zvichida kuti vaMnangagwa chavari kungoda kuextenda kuti ivo nevana vavo nevanhu vakavakomberedza vaone kuba upfumi hwenyika. Kana even one member of ZANU-PF tiudzei vakasungwa nenyaya yehuori. Saka munotiudza here kuti since 2017 until today hakuna even member yeZANU-PF iri kuita uori. Tikada kuti bvunze 2017 kusvika pari zvino nhasi hakuna minister of ZANU-PF iri ari kuita zveuori. Tikada kubvunza kuti since 2017 kusvika pari nhasi hakuna mapurisa here vari mumaranks vari kuita zveuori. Hakuna here masoja ari kuita ari maranks matop ranks ari kuita zveuori. Ndiani vakasungwa vanhu vese ava? Saka muri kungati vanhu vese vari perfect. Zviri kurongwa neZANU-PF hatizvibvumire. Izvo zvinezvi makatarisa even kuANC kugovernment shamwari dzavo dzekuANC kugovernment vane resolutions yavanobuda nayo kuti vakaona uori hwanyanyisa muANC vane document ravo ravanoti step aside. Saka ZANU-PF inofanira kubuda nestep aside yokuti kana munhu wese anenge abatwa neuori ngaaende pastep aside. Ngaende pastep munhu iye ochivhenekwa kuti munhu ari kuita zveuori kana wazocheneswa nematare ndopaanozodzoka kupati. Asi ZANU-PF haina that agenda iyoyo because vanozviziva kuti vese vanopera kusungwa nokuti vese mbavha. Saka isisi hatisi kubvuma zvikuita neZANU-PF. Hatizvitendere zvikuita neZANU-PF. Izvozvo vana vagraduate vana vari kuwana kupi mabasa achona. Instead yekuti mutsvage mainvestors kuti vana vaone mabasa muri kufunga zvekuextenda matemu. Vana vaone mabasa muri kufunga kuextenda matemu okungoba futi kubira nyika.
Let's take a look at our sports news. Zimbabwe men's national soccer team, the Warriors, recorded their fourth loss of the World Cup qualification campaign after losing 1-0 to Rwanda in a match played at Orlando Stadium in South Africa yesterday. They succumbed to a pile driver by the impressive Rwandan attacker Gilbert Mugisha late in the first half. Warriors coach Michael Nees threw a host of attackers in the second half, but the team failed to score in a second consecutive game. Cape Verde are on the cusp qualifying for their first ever World Cup as their 1-0 win over Cameroon left them 4 points on top of their group with the 2 matches to play. Here are results of qualifiers played yesterday. South Africa 1, Nigeria 1, Benin 4, Lesotho 0, DRC 2, Senegal 3, Burkina Faso 0, Egypt 0, Tanzania 0, Niger 1, Namibia 3, Sao Tome 0, Togo 1, Sudan 0, Kenya 5, Seychelles 0, Angola 3, Mauritius 1, Gabon 0, Ivory Coast 0, Gambia 2, Burundi 0. English Premier League side Nottingham Forest yesterday appointed former Tottenham coach Aji Postecoglou as their new coach following the sacking of Nuno Espirito Santo. The Australian returned to management in less than 3 months after parting ways with the Tottenham despite leading them to Europa League glory in May. His first game will be away to Arsenal on Saturday. To conclude our Citizens Movement Radio News, here are the headlines once more. ZANU-PF is not Zimbabwe, says the opposition as it vows to stop 2030 agenda. Citizens in Matabeleland pinned hope on President Chamisa to deliver development. Are you not embarrassed, says Mahere, as he questions government commitment on refurbishing stadiums. That's all for tonight's news bulletin. Thank you for listening to CMR. Join us tomorrow for more news and updates. Until then, good night and stay informed.